Hello, all my joyful creators and Yarn Joy adventurists. Welcome to Yarn Joy Adventures with Cynthia. My name is Cynthia with Cynthia's Joyful Creations, and today we are going to create another scrubby dishcloth using Red Heart Scrubby Sparkle. And this is what we're going to be making today. And I just love it. I love the thickness about it. I just love the way it sparkles. I mean, it's just beautiful. Look at that. And even though it's got this scrubby on it, I mean, it has a little bit of a harsh, coarse texture to it, but yet it's hard to describe. It's soft. It's not like a baby soft yarn, but it's still soft. But listen, I love it. So if you are ready to make this dishcloth with some of this Red Heart Scrubby Sparkle, then I will meet you over at the craft table and we'll get started. Welcome to the Joyful Creations craft table, and the items that you are going to need for today, you will need cotton yarn, and today I'm going to use a variegated yellow, and you will need your scrubby. And today we are using the Red Heart Scrubby Sparkle. I have this little label in here on the cotton yarn. It is called Pisca Yarn and Dyeing is where this came from. It's 100% cotton. It's a 14-ounce cone, and it is approximately 690 yards was on it, and it is called Daisy Ombre. It's a real pretty yellow. And the scrubby yarn that we're using, the Red Heart Scrubby Sparkle, it is a 3-ounce skein, 85 grams, 174 yards. And it is called Lemon. It's made in China. And it is considered a medium 4-weight yarn. And then you will need a 6mm hook, also known as a J hook. And again, I am using the Leither Co. hooks, and I will include the link in the description box for how you can get your own wooden Leither Co. ergonomic hooks. And you'll need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. And I always encourage everyone to always put a little bit of lotion on their hands before they start crocheting to keep your best tool, your hands, moisturized and hydrated. I am going to go ahead and pause this video a minute and get my yarn ready to go, and we'll meet back up and get started. To get started, we are going to create a foundation chain with our cotton yarn. So we're going to create a slip knot. And I like to do my dishcloths 26 chains across, so I am going to do a foundation chain of 27, so I have one for my turning chain to start my first row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoops, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. And that gives us our foundation chain. We are going to work half double crochets, and we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to skip this first chain and come right into the second chain. On my foundation chains, in case I decide to put a border on, I always, on my foundation rows, always go under just the top loop, and then all the other rows I go under both loops unless I'm doing a specific pattern that requires me to do something different. So we are just making half double crochets all the way across this row. This is the first time I have ever made anything using the Red Heart Scrubby Sparkle. So it will be interesting to see how easy and how well it works up. Last week we did a dishcloth using the Red Heart Scrubby, and I found it to be fairly easy to use both by itself and then also as a double strand with the cotton yarn. So I'm curious to see how the sparkle is going to do. It is a little bit rougher in texture than just the Red Heart Scrubby, so I don't know. We will find out in just a minute. So we are almost across this first row, working our half double crochets. And I try to do my best to always stay as close to the camera as I can, because I am more of a knife holder when it comes to holding my hook while I crochet than a pencil holder. And I know sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to see, so I try to stay as close as I can so that you can see what I'm doing. And we are almost to the end here. And this yellow is so pretty. Working this yellow makes me think of our friend who's a content creator by the name of Little John. I know she loves yellow. Okay, and there is our first row. Now, as I have mentioned before in any of my dishcloth tutorials, I like to do mine 26 chains across. It ends up making a nice size dishcloth for me and my hands. And then if I add a border, it gives it a little bit more of a length and a width. If you like your dishcloths to be a little bit bigger, you can do them up to 30 to 32 chains, which is usually what most people normally do. But I like to keep mine right at 26. So now we're going to try and bring in this sparkle yarn here, the Scrubby Sparkle, and see how it does. So to get started with it, I'm going to do just like I would if I were starting out with it, and I'm going to create a slip knot, just like that. And I'm going to slide it onto my hook, tighten it down, and then I am just going to chain one with it just to kind of help secure it on my hook to get started. And I'm just going to tighten it down. There we go. So I'm going to scoot it up with the cotton loop that I have on there. And then I'm going to grab my working cotton, my working Scrubby Sparkle, and I'm going to chain one with it. And then I'm going to turn my work. And I am going to work these tails in right here on top as I make these stitches, so that I just work it in as we go. So I've wrapped both the cotton and the sparkle around my hook, and we're going to go right into this first stitch and make a half double crochet. And we're going to do that right into the next stitch. And I just realized I have a tendency to always do this. I forgot to grab my cotton yarn to work that tail in. So let me pull that stitch out and go back and pull that cotton yarn up. I had the sparkle yarn, I just didn't have the cotton yarn. So there we go. And just pull that through. And we're just going to continue making half double crochets across. Again, I'm working over both the tails from the cotton yarn and the Scrubby yarn. And I'm curious to see how this works up and compare it to just the Red Heart Scrubby. And I do apologize, my cotton yarn is wanting to get tangled up with my scrubby yarn. So let me try to separate these since I have a rather large craft table here. We've got the room to do that. Okay. And the nice thing about working these tails in, especially with this scrubby yarn, is it all will blend in together. And once I get these tails worked in, we will stop and take a look at what it looks like. And it's always difficult trying to get started because you don't have anything to hold on to, especially if you're a new crocheter. So don't give up. Just take your time. And this should work in both those tails rather nicely for me. I'm going to give this cotton one, a tug, because usually it's loose underneath there. And give it one more tug. Okay, so this looks like it's going to be the last stitch to work those tails in. And so there we go. Can you see that? That is cool. And my tails are worked in. You can't even tell where they are. I love it. So now we're just working with the 2 strands, no more tails to worry about. And we're just going to continue working across this row, working half double crochets. And so I don't find it to be really difficult working with this scrubby yarn either. It seems to work very smoothly. Now it does feel rough kind of going through my fingers as I work it, but as far as sliding on and off the hook, it seems to be doing very nicely, even with it being wrapped around the cotton yarn. So that's really good. And we're getting down to our last 2 stitches. I want to make sure we go into this last stitch and don't forget it. Okay, and there we are. You guys, that is really, really pretty. Look at that. So then after that, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we are going to just continue working half double crochets 26 times across each row until we have completed a total of 23 rows. And then once we have completed 23 rows using the cotton and the scrubby, we will go ahead and fasten off with the scrubby, chain 1, and work 1 more row of just the cotton. But I will come back and join you when we have that final row of just working the cotton left to do. So go ahead and pause the video and continue working a total of 23 rows. Now we've already worked one, so we are working on really what would be, you know, where we have to work only 22 rows left, but you want to make sure and I'm going to correct myself 21 rows because we have a row of the cotton yarn already. So you want a total of my yarn is getting caught up. Now let me show you this. This is what I just am running into. So it looks like it will be very easy for this scrubby yarn to want to knot up. So just give it some light pulls and it seems to be working its way out, but that is the only thing I'm noticing so far about the scrubby yarn, is that it can knot up very easily. So our dishcloth is going to be a total of 24 rows. So you want a total of 22 rows of just the cotton and scrubby yarn. And we're working our second row of that. So when we finish this row, we will only work 20 rows more to give us a total of 24 rows. And this looks so nice. I'm so close to the end here. I'm going to go ahead and finish this row so that we can take a look at what it looks like. Let me grab some more cotton yarn. And if you know me, I no longer apologize for those little beep beeps, because that means some of my friends have posted a video for me to watch. And I've set little notifications up on my phone so that anytime a content creator that I am subscribed to post a video, that it lets me know. And that finishes the third row, which is the second row of cotton and scrubby. You guys, look at that. That is so pretty. I do like that. I wasn't sure how I was going to like, you know, the Scrubby Sparkle. I could tell that I was really going to like the scrubby yarn, but I wasn't sure about this Scrubby Sparkle, and I actually really like it. I might even like it even a little bit more than the scrubby. So, all right. So go ahead and work 20 more rows of your cotton and your Scrubby Sparkle together, and we'll come back and work the final 24th row of doing just cotton together. We are back. We've got all of our rows done. You guys, this dishcloth is so beautiful, and I love, love, love it. You can kind of see it. So, oh my goodness. And I have to say, even Mr. Joyful really liked this, and he is very, very excited that this will end up in our kitchen. So let's go ahead and trim off our Scrubby Sparkle yarn here and leave just a little bit for weaving in a tail. And put that to the side. And, whoops. I'm going to try and bring this so that you can see. All right. So I'm going to grab both the tail that I just cut off for the Scrubby Sparkle and the cotton yarn, and I'm going to chain one with it, turn my work, And for this last row, I'm just going to bring this little scrubby tail and put it across the top and work over it and just work it into the dishcloth. And then I'm just going to do this top row of just using just the cotton yarn. And again, I'm doing just the half double crochet. And just working over that scrubby tail. And it will just blend in nicely. And again, this has such a thickness to it and a strong foundation that I don't feel it needs a border. So I will not be adding a border with this. And just continue to work over that tail and work a half double crochet into each of these stitches. And I think one more stitch will have that scrubby tail worked in. And we're just about finished. And then when we get to the end here, we are just going to fasten off and weave in our tail, and our dishcloth will be finished. And so my opinion, after using both of these scrubby yarns from last week and this week, I love the scrubby yarn. I think it worked well with the cotton yarn. I think it slid on and off the hook very nicely. And I found it to be very easy to work with. And I just love how it finishes up the dishcloth. So there we go. So now I'm just going to trim a tail here and pull that through and fasten it down. Then all I have to do is weave it in. And there's our dishcloth. Oh, I'm in love with this. That is so pretty. You can hear it. So you can So now I am going to pause the video a minute and get everything that you're going to need for next week's tutorial. We're going to make one more type of dishcloth and maybe two more. But it's going to be including a scrubby, but not in yarn form. So what do I mean? Well, give me a minute and I'll be right back and I'll show you. So next week, you'll need to have some more cotton yarn, and I am choosing to use this Sugar and Cream Stripes. So it is a self-striping yarn, and it is a medium 4 weight, and let's see, it is 100% cotton. It is a 2-ounce skein, 56.7 grams, and approximately 95 yards. It is in the colorway Pinky Stripes. And this is the type of scrubby that we're going to use. Again, I have never made anything like this. I have never seen anything on YouTube or anywhere else made out of these scrubbies with yarn either. So we're going to give it a go. And so I have another pack that I've already opened up, and we are going to use the pink scrubby. And so I am actually going to cut the scrubby in half, and we're only going to use one piece of it. Okay, so next week you will need to have a piece of scrubby like this. I got these actually from the dollar store. So I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it probably it does right there. It's a 10 pack. So this will actually make up 20 dishcloths, and I'm excited. So here is our scrubby for next week. So I hope you'll come join me. Well, until then, take care, stay safe, be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, and make your own joyful creations. And I will see you next Sunday for our next Yarn Joy adventure.